I always said I need to have like one of the OG Joe Rogan intros. And if you ever watched Joe Rogan before it became a little bit more family friendly, which is still, I mean, I would say it's PG-13 for the most part, but his intro was "What's up, freak bleep." It's always been one of those staples that I appreciated. Joe, that's who Joe Rogan is, right? But what's up, everybody? It's technically episode 3, but I'm gonna call this episode 2. So actually it's episode 3. Episode 3 of The World is Burning. I'm your host, the main man, Joe Blackburn, and I have quite a few really interesting tidbits about the Ethereum merge I'm gonna share. Okay. And the title of the show is who has the most to gain with the Ethereum merge. It's essentially what happens and who is going to be the beneficiaries of this. And this it goes from an individual perspective, like what people or what groups might win here, and to a larger extent, what companies, what is going to what do you need to be in front of? And I'm going to pose a few analogies, maybe not even. I'll be a little bit more specific, but I'm going to pose how my brain is going to work through this process, and I'm going to start off with something that seems like the obvious, but I have not received a lot of feedback when I posed this to some of my group chats and some of my personal conversations I've had with friends who are well aware of the intricacies and the technicals of what's going to be going down. But just to let everybody know, I mean, I think it's September 15th or so. I mean, we're not that far away. I mean, we're within a month of the proof of stake merge, to whatever extent this actually moves forward, because a lot of people are skeptical just based on the delays that have happened in the past. But what I want to point out is, assuming the merge goes through, the most obvious factor that you need to be aware of. I'm not saying you go and buy something. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, never have been, never will be. But how my brain, Joe Blackburn's brain, is going to work is the overwhelming percentage of the single largest ETH holder, as I understand at least, is Coinbase. Coinbase is a company that has is a public stock that you can go and buy. It is an exchange listed on a traditional exchange. I am a big fan of Coinbase, not necessarily because of their customer service, because that's absolutely not the case. Although I do think they are semi trying to do better. They're still they're probably them and Binance and all these other ones. There's just so many people who use them that they don't need to they don't need customer service to be successful. Like, they don't care. It's what it feels like, at least. Again, I feel like Coinbase has tried to be better, but I don't want to give them too much credit here. But Coinbase as a whole has been so instrumental in the adoption and the growth of the crypto ecosystem, specifically here in the United States, even though I think they started off as a UK company. I know they're based out of San Francisco now, or Silicon Valley to some extent. But Coinbase, when they went public, there was a lot of hype. It was like really in the middle of the bull part of the cycle, and it got a lot of attention for crypto. And then people made fun of it for, the price went down. I mean, it acted like the Bitcoin market. Imagine that, right? We're really all markets, because everything was falling, crashing down. But Ethereum as a entity, as a existence, has so much potential. It really, to me, is so instrumental in what we consider the future of this ecosystem. There's nothing more decentralized than Ethereum that could potentially change based off of theoretics, as the merge happens when they move to proof of stake. But Ethereum has paved the way to open the concepts that we could only dream about 10, 15, 20 years ago. There's a lot to be said about opening up Pandora's box of ecosystem that Ethereum did for us and continues to do going along the way. I mean, Vitalik, when he created this idea, what was he, like 19? This was genius. Vitalik was truly ahead of his time, and ahead of the time even as it exists today, because it's so hard to consider the amount of adoption you need for this to work at a world level. But it's happening. It's not only happening, it's happening every day right before your eyes. Bear, bull, doesn't matter. People are building, people are using Ethereum, people are swapping, people are staking. They're doing everything within the ecosystem to make sure that there is opportunity for people to be attracted enough to the Ethereum blockchain as the place they want to develop. Now, I tell you that to tell you this. Coinbase holds 14%, as I saw. I do not have any more verified numbers on this outside of what I read on, I think it was CoinDesk. I'll try to find that article and link it in the comments. But 14% of all staked ETH at the moment is from Coinbase. That is an astronomically large number, and people don't realize how significantly important that's going to be for Coinbase in an earnings report at some point in their future. So imagine this: you're a user of Coinbase. They offer, hey, stake your ETH here, earn more ETH just by staking it. They give you a large percentage, and they take a reasonable percentage, and the two of you together are making Ethereum. 14% of all staked ETH is not from Coinbase itself. It's from us, the users. And they are making an absolute killing, a fortune off of this staked ETH. And they will make a even larger killing when they go proof of stake, when Ethereum goes proof of stake. Because how you will then be rewarded for maintaining the blockchain will be through staking. So as proof of stake becomes the reality, Ethereum is going to absolutely just change the way Coinbase makes money. They are going to be so absolutely fat and happy. It does not even compare to what they've done in the past. This is my opinion. All right. Again, this is not financial advice. Coinbase, the stock itself, is a representation of their earnings. That they have value as a company. You can go buy a piece of equity in that company and be rewarded as an equity holder. This is going to be a huge, huge win for Coinbase. I believe that Coin, which is their public stock ticker, is way, way, way undervalued compared to what it might be. And it would not surprise me if we don't see Coinbase move into a true top 10, top 20 company on NASDAQ before the end of the next bull cycle. Again, this is speculation. This is not guaranteed. I mean, a lot of things have to happen for this to be this successful for Ethereum. But it kind of leads me to the next side of this, is that, you know, Coinbase is not, they don't have a crypto, right? They have a public stock that you can go purchase. And this is a very unique thing for me to talk about, because it's not usually something that I find to be the most important side, like as in the public stocks. I mean, I don't care about stocks. I care, but like they don't matter to me because they're so old news. I mean, like until they're on the blockchain, I can't take them seriously, because I don't even want to get into that side of the US dollar swapping. There's a lot of craziness that goes on with the US dollar these days, everybody knows. But that's a whole different concept I'm not trying to get into. The bigger picture here is, what is DeFi going to be in the midst of this? I see a lot of different opinions on the merge, and there are projects. I mean, Ethereum Classic will probably benefit to some extent from the proof of stake swap over from ETH. I mean, I don't have a lot to say about Ethereum Classic. I don't believe in it as a option to build, but it's a plan B for proof of work miners, proof of work builders, people who want that aspect of crypto to exist. There is a case for that. Now, I don't care in this conversation. I'm not telling you whether or not these are reasonably strong projects that you should take more seriously, as far as, is this the best project to ever exist? No, this is without an opinion on the actual value of the use case, but it's more so the perception and what people may be attracted to post merge. And I look at Ethereum Classic. It's very important that people realize when you go proof of stake, you eliminate the overwhelming majority of the people who have supported the blockchain as the people who support the blockchain. You're switching over, and it's left a lot of people kind of hanging. It's gonna hopefully bring down the price of graphics cards so that I can afford a decent computer these days. But to the main point, Ethereum Classic should benefit. Coinbase should benefit from this move. Mainly Ethereum Classic because it eliminates the proof of work miners from Ethereum. So where are they going to go? I think maybe even Raven Coin, and there's a few other ones that I'm looking at this from the perspective of you don't wait till these things start going up. You take a look at them. You find $20, $30 in your old wallet. Maybe you go and you take a look at it and say, is this worth throwing a lottery ticket amount of money at it? To me, there is a lot to be said about getting in front of speculation because you can spread it across 5, 10 different projects, lottery tickets. And one of them, if you do your best to consider how the public reaction will be to some of this stuff, you're going to win eventually. And I have been successful in that same realm by, looking around and saying which of these could pop, and of those, I put them in a side basket and I say, all right, I might buy all of these for $25, and $25 can turn into $500 in a matter of days, if not hours, depending on, what you get into when you get into it. Now, Ethereum Classic has a pretty large awareness factor already. It's not like I'm groundbreaking any information here that Ethereum Classic could benefit. I don't want to pretend like that is the case, or that I'm some super smart guru. Like, this has been talked about since the announcement that this was going to happen last year, right? Maybe even before that. So Ethereum Classic stands to benefit, but things are getting very real, and I don't really see too much. I don't see too much action on some of the stuff that seems very obvious to me. Some of that because it's priced in already. To me, Coinbase, their stock is very low in the big scheme of things. Obviously, I'm a big fan of dollar cost average. Buy $10, $15, $20 a time, on Robinhood. I don't care how you do it. That's up to you. But to me, if you DCA, you're going to average for the long-term future. This is where traders just cannot wrap their head around the concept that over 10, 20 years, dollar cost average is going to make me a lot more than you trading. I don't care what you tell me. There's a few traders out there that can go and do this every day, and they're really that good. But that is like being a professional gamer or being a professional football player. There are pros who do it, and they almost devalue their own abilities by saying, oh, look how easy this is. Man, there is so much that goes into trading outside of drawing lines and understanding technicals. The ability to be disciplined to the highest level in trading is the absolute determination, in my opinion, on how you're successful. But guess what? There's still a value of DCA within the traders. They have their own system of DCA. Take your daily profit and then stop, or once you make so much, you remove the overwhelming percentage of what you've got in, and then you trade the rest of it until either it's gone or you made more, right? There is a gamble or there's a trade. I tend to end up being a gambler while I trade because I unfortunately don't take it. I cannot go and put this amount of my portfolio into a trade account because I don't have the emotional discipline to not be scared to lose or greedy when I'm winning. That's why DCA works for me. And this is an important perspective, especially going into the ETH merge, because if ETH goes into the merge, comes out clean, working, and successful, obviously that successful is kind of arbitrary. It's not going to stop being used. I promise you. It is one of the most appreciated and believed in projects that have ever existed in the crypto space. Bitcoin and Ethereum are almost side by side the most important aspects of crypto. Ethereum, to me, has more shorter term potential than Bitcoin. but Bitcoin to me will always be daddy. And looking into why it's shorter term has more profitability potentially really comes down to who is who is going to stop using ETH. To me, it's only been the miners. That's the only people I ever hear hating on Ethereum right now. It's not surprising. I don't blame them either, but I don't hear anybody else being like, "Oh, I'm just never going to use it." No. What I hear is people say, "Oh, it's not going to change the gas prices," or, "Oh, man, it doesn't mean that it's going to make it faster." I mean, whatever. It's supposed to. We'll see. On both sides, at some point, this should lower everything and allow scalability to an extent that does compete with actual real companies that are operating on fake numbers. The problem with blockchain is it's real and it's not a it's you don't get to send PayPal $20 like it came out of my pocket and pretend like it exists in somebody else's bank account. PayPal honors the transactions and your bank honors that, and then eventually it hits. How do you get instant deposits to your bank? Your bank credits it, knowing that it's coming in from PayPal, right? So, or Venmo or whatever. Well, Ethereum is at a disadvantage. When you send it, there's no crediting in advance. Like it's not possible. I mean, it is, but the person is taking a huge risk, and the receiving person is taking a huge risk if they're going to credit you and let you have your money. If you're, on an exchange, or if you're on, I mean, hell, if you're going to Coinbase, like Coinbase, they make it stay pending until so many transactions just to make sure that it confirms. This is not something that can change in its current form as far as the speed and the scalability. Now, I'm not a technical person. I'm not going to pretend like I can sit up here and give you all the intricate details. And if you're watching at home and you're saying, "Look at this idiot trying to talk about technicals," I agree. And that's why I'm going to just stop right there as far as the text go. But I want to be really, really significantly clear when I say this. The Ethereum holders, the smaller Ethereum holders, have a chance to benefit massively from this. I made a post, or excuse me, someone made a post about Ethereum. I commented on there. It was a post about how much can Ethereum go up or something like that. Is it worth selling? Blah blah blah. And I always give my perspective. I don't ever say this is what anybody should do, because if you remember earlier, I made sure everybody knew I'm not a financial advisor. I'm never have been, never will be. But personally speaking, what Joe Blackburn looks at is, what do I value ETH over the next 10 years, right? Where do I see, and when I say over the next 10 years, I'm not saying that 10 years from today, what is the price of ETH? But in the midst of the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, Ethereum will have another bull run. The identity of the success, again, is going to be subjected to the person's expectations. But for me personally, I can see Ethereum between $12,000 and $20,000 per. Number one, the burn rate. With the implementation of the London hard fork, I guess it was around March or April or so, maybe May. Ethereum is now burning at a higher rate than they are minting. Okay, as it goes into the future, I definitely would expect Ethereum's supply to either maintain or minimize. I will have to do more research on what the intent of that London hard fork does once the merge happens. I do not have enough information on that. But whether there is an increasing supply, or whether it stands as is and there's a supply that's decreasing, I feel very confident saying that there is going to be a lot of credibility for Ethereum at both the high level investment firms I guess viewpoints, and then also the usability, the credibility, and the honesty of what Ethereum offers, the B2B or B2P or B to anything, as a overwhelmingly good option. And people will realize they can benefit by holding. Now, the average person, 32 ETH is a lot. 32 ETH is what you need to run a node. In my opinion, that is going to be too much right now for average Joe. I don't see everybody taking out mortgages, nor should they, to go buy, a node, or take a second mortgage on your house to buy a node. You guys know what I mean? But what I do think is that these pools will be successful because the price of ETH today is so much lower than what I believe the price of ETH is going to be in 5, 6, 7 years. Someone had pointed out, "Oh, how could you say that? That'll make Ethereum, the second largest company in the whole world next to Apple." Well, there's two things that this person's forgetting. Number one, I don't think it's going to be $20,000 tomorrow or nor next year. I also didn't say only 20,000. I said between 12 and 20,000 based off of where I look at this, 12 to 20,000. And this is the problem with the internet is this person saw my comment, tried to discredit me by saying, look at today, look at where it would stand. Well, what does the stock market look like in 5 years? Is the current price of the stock market going to be the same current price of the stock or like price of that stock and the overall market cap 5 years from now? Well, how can you be so short-sighted, bro? Now, I don't like to overly fight with people. I like to prove my point when they come at me. I will stand up for myself. Obviously, I wanted to engage with this person. They did not engage back with me very much. And I don't know necessarily their purpose, their intent, or their reasons, but we disagreed. But this is such an issue with people in crypto that it is probably the number one issue. And that is nobody sees past the next candle, the next hour, the next 4 hour, the next day candle. Really, if you're thinking, when you hear a monthly candle conversation, you're like, or do you say, oh, wow, yeah, look at the monthly candle? Because for me, the monthly candle is the only thing that matters. And really, if you take it even a bigger step, the yearly candles are the only things that I really trust, as in the projection concept. You cannot tell me that you can honestly say Ethereum can't be 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 when Ethereum was already 4,000 and there's no outside of crypto use case yet. I guess anything using crypto or using Ethereum will be in crypto use case, but you get the point. The outside world has not adopted nor implemented anything on Ethereum. There's a reason for that. There's not the adoptability factor. It's coming, but it's not there yet. Now, DeFi is so instrumental to humanity's rights, including voting, including personal property, and the ability to hold your own stuff and the credibility of owning stuff digitally should and will exist eventually on the blockchain. If it is not on the blockchain within the next 5 years, you should look around and say, I live in a very Orwellian society. And I can tell you right now, blockchain verifies ownership if it's adopted. And it will be our greatest asset to have individual sovereignty with no ability to have anything taken from us without our permission. Period. Of course, if you even try to bring up an exchange, this guy could freeze us. That's not a wallet that you own. That is a crypto exchange that holds your assets, that allows you to exchange, to buy, to sell, to hold if you want, to stake, but it's not yours. Coinbase is not a safe place to keep your crypto. If you only have a few $100 on there, I'm not going to sit there and say that's a bad thing. I mean, like, whatever. That, to me, that's such a minimal amount, not because that's not a lot, but it's a minimal amount compared to who wants to steal it from you. Or if you lost that amount, would it affect your life? So it's not an arbitrary number. I'm not saying that it doesn't matter, like, like whatever, but whatever matters to you, whatever amount of money matters. If you lost it and it wouldn't matter, I wouldn't leave it on an exchange. That's my only suggestion, right? But with that being said, whether it's a hot wallet on the internet that you own the keys to, that's the least of the security options that you should take. There is vulnerabilities there. A cold storage wallet, like a Ledger or Trezor or something along those lines, that is my favorite place for me to say that is the safest and most secure way to hold crypto. One day we'll be holding our car titles, our mortgage, or excuse me, not mortgage, our home titles, any documents, marriage license, driver's license, anything you can think of that has the verifiability to show where it came from, when it was minted, when it was transferred. All the stuff is public at that point, right? I mean, VIN numbers on cars, and if you look at when you actually start trying to buy a car, or let's say you're buying a used vehicle and you want to see the report of its history, the Carfax. Show me the Carfax with the Carfax. Uh, what you can assume is that it's telling you the truth, but there is a system that is not implemented yet that will absolutely guarantee the truth, and eventually it'll be automated. And the people who service the humans this way, and they do it in a way that falls within the guidelines of the law, but at the same time really truly gives the ability for us as people to hold and control our own um, uh, information, data, property. Those people are going to win. Look around. Who wants to do that? Start paying attention and take your assets off of exchanges. Put yourself in a position to be successful when these things blow up long term. Now, this all ties into one big major factor. DeFi is the most important aspect of all of humanity going forward. It is the last hope for humanity. And I don't say that lightly. I don't say that pretending like I understand everything about DeFi. I don't pretend like I understand what everything's going to look like in DeFi 10 years from now. I don't say that saying I know everything about everything in any way. I can just tell you this from the bottom of my heart. If you're not paying attention to DeFi, you're messing up. You are losing already, because DeFi transitions us into individuals, free thinkers, and the ability to govern what we deserve to maintain a governance over our personal property and our wealth. All right. I don't want to go on too long. The world is burning. We got to put it out. It's up to us. What are you doing for crypto? What are you doing for blockchain? What are you doing for humanity? Do something. Appreciate everybody. Until next time.